Right.
Oh, that wasn't even the first. It wasn't even the first half. That was like the first 13 minutes. And then just stall that up for the next 45. Holy crap! I'm ready for another one though. I'm ready. I'm ready. I know I'm ready. I can do it. Give me an hour-long match this time. You know, 2 hours. Let's just go all the way. We're doing some Vanderbilt hour-long matches, seeing how many things we can test. And unsurprisingly, Relegades' first ban is going to be Sandbuster's Caitlyn, and then the Lulu. Oh man, they're definitely tilted. Yeah, I know. If they're playing on that same style that they were before, with the same consistency, well, hopefully not the same consistency, but you know, in that dominating style that they showcased in the beginning of the match, that's surely a one game. But I mean, thinking farther ahead, what this means for the series and for the Virtuosos themselves, to come out on top of the top 3 team in that sort of style, definitely a morale booster for them. And I'm not sure. There weren't a lot of things in that draft that were problematic for them. They did ban out the Graves, which is extremely key. One of the biggest things I was able to shove down those towers, and White Rod did an amazing job carrying and taking down all those towers. So that's a really good adjustment for them. Mundo, not a good adjustment. Let's just see that one switched out, but it's difficult for me to commend the Virtuosos. It was really impressive, but the stall out was just kind of how that comp sort of plays. I almost feel like most of the responsibility rested within the Relegades to throw that lead the way that they did. It wasn't so much the Virtuosos having an amazing comeback, even though they did have an amazing comeback. It was mostly on the Relegades that threw that lead away, because that's just kind of how that Caitlyn Lulu Syndra comp works. Yeah, had some really good picks with some pretty good pressure, but the short range ultimately fell prey to Trent's Syndra. Gonna see what they're gonna go with here. I'm really interested to see how they adapt, if they do at all, considering that comp worked pretty well for them. If they do go with an Ezreal, though, it'd be pretty far cry from the ADC that they had before with the heavy wave clear that Caitlyn was bringing. They are going to lock in the Vi and the Ezreal. Happy to see Vi back on the Rift, one of my favorite junglers. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I do as well, but the thing about the last comp that the Relegades ran was that the Graves was a huge pillar for that comp's success, getting in that snowball that we keep harping on and on about. Yeah. That is a Vayne. I'm not so sure about picking it into this comp though, with the amount of die. I mean, a Vi Shen, you're gonna pick Vayne into that? Seems kind of questionable if you ask me. Some really heavy dive. Yeah, Sam Buster feeling himself now, gonna pick up the Vayne. Are gonna hover. I think Karma would actually be. I think Blitzcrank would actually be a good pick against this comp for Sandwalker to be on. Not a fan of the Karma, but Yeah, especially with the Vi. I don't think Vi's gonna have much of an impact at all as the Graves did, but pretty gank heavy. So if she does go that, or if White Raw does go that sort of responding counter jungle route, don't think it's gonna have. It's a placeholder. Yeah. ADC Ram is coming. No, I keyed. Definitely a placeholder, but with the comp that we're looking at right now on the side of the Relegades, I think I'm not a fan of Ezreal. I mean, or Vayne, if I'm being honest. The wave clear and like long range damage that the Caitlyn was able to do in the hands of Sandbuster is pretty pivotal into the success of the Virtuoso. So to put him on a champion that is pretty much the exact opposite of that, especially in the Shenvi, I mean, that could very well be a placeholder, if I'm being honest. Right now, looking at Ezreal, classic Ezreal karma, bot lane, but
okay, yep. There we go. They were dragging that on for a little bit too long. I'm starting to get
weird. Really curious about that one. Personally, not a fan. I feel like the poke is gonna really win out. Like the push priority is within the Karma Ezreal lane, so much so.
Hesitation is death.
I think with the meta right now, and with all the support changes, support itemization changes that they made, Janna is really good, in my opinion. I mean, she would be better if hard engage. I suppose hard engage supports were a little bit more meta, rather than the poke that we've been seeing as of late. But there's still hard engage within those top lane picks, so Janna gonna have a fun time stunting those and all those potential engages.
I'm kind of curious. I've yet to see Vayne's that often lately, so I'm kind of curious, especially since the Blade of the Rune King changes. I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out, because we could see that type of power spike that Lucian gets from a Vayne with the Blade of the Rune King changes. Maybe I'm overstepping just a little bit, not as big of a power spike as obviously Lucian, mid-game king, but maybe we could see something pretty good come out of that.
Yeah, I'm keeping an open mind about it, but to go into the laning phase, I mean, Vayne's strength is pretty much all reliant on. I mean, she has very adaptable builds, but it's her strength is pretty much all reliant on her ability to lane. If she's able to see us, like most ADCs. Right now, though, with the comp that she'd be playing into is pretty poke heavy, and I could see that being kind of dangerous for Vayne to try to make it to that mid game if she even gets there at all. And then it's that late game fantasy that most Vaynes are aiming for. So it is going to be a Diana mid lane for Cyber to God, staying with the motive of melee mid laners,
which he did really well on.
Yeah, he did really well on it, except Lulu existed, unfortunately.
This time no Lulu, instead the Janna, which gives a similar effect in terms of accomplishing a goal, which is stop, get away from my ADC, please.
Yeah, pretty short range though. I'm not sure how Relegades are going to be able to. They might be in that same spot of not being able to siege because of a lack of range. Or dive, but that should be alleviated by the Nautilus that they have, and the Kha'Zix would help to pressure that a lot more. Trentalism once more on the control mage had a pretty good uncharacteristic showing actually on his Syndra. So happy to see improvements from all the Virtuosos.
I do feel like we're walking into some of the same thing here as we did last time, and it's a little bit denied for the late game of the Virtuosos, because last time they had a comp that was really good at stalling. They still have some of those benefits of stalling, like on Trentalism, but it's going to be much harder considering now they have Sandbuster on a Vayne, and considering the power of the dive that you can get out of the comp drafted from the Relegades. I think if the Virtuosos fall behind once again, I don't think they're going to be able to pull out the same stall they did. I think this could be the Relegades game just like that.
Yeah, I agree actually, to bring up those points about like the dive threat. I think the Relegades recognize the mistake within one of the aspects and downsides of picking that Trundle was that they were very limited on engage, pretty much only on an Elise Cocoon or rather a Flash Nethergrass from Sandwalker, and that was pretty much it. So their tools are extremely limited. Now, though, like you were saying before, they do have all that dive, and that could be what they need to crack the base much more easily than in game 1. I do agree with the comps. The points that you're making about the comps are very succinct. You know, Vayne not as good as stalling as the Caitlyn would be. Cyber the God is actually putting him in, I would say, a little bit more of a tough matchup into that Oriana, who has really good poke with those auto attacks to prevent Cyber the God from getting all that CS. But once more, I think it does rest within the junglers to sort of propel their teams into that position for success. Ultimately, though, I would give the comp. I think the comp from Relegades have a much higher chance of success just because of how long it takes Vayne to get going, how useless Janet can be without her team, and without an adequate target to peel. That's kind of the opposite from Lulu. Like, Lulu's ulti is really effective if you have a diver. Janna's not so much, and they do have a little bit of dive in Kha'Zix and the Nautilus. He usually tends to be more frontline, but can pick targets out. So that being said, giving the team comp edge over to Relegades.
I feel like a lot of this game's gonna pivot on Trentinism more than anything else now. I'm gonna put that more than saved one actually, because when it comes to these team fights, you're gonna have crippled old man on the front line trying to run all that distraction. But the shockwave, we've seen this in Elder, we've seen it in Dragon, we've seen it in Phoenix. It's one of the most game-changing ultimates, one of the most team fight-changing ultimates. And if Trent can use that to its maximum efficiency, we could see the Virtuosos actually take a game 2.
Yeah, that would be really difficult working with the dive that he is up against, trying to get a good shockwave. I'd be actually surprised if he could get like 3 people, considering Vi, Diana, and Shen all melee want to dive in. And Ezreal, slippery as he is with those arcane shifts. So we are loading in now. Curious to see the Keystone Masteries that everyone has taken.
And for those of you just joining us, this is Ascension eSports Elder League Season 2. If you want to participate, we are a learning community that features divisions for all ELOs. We have Dragon League for Bronze through Silver, we have Elder League for Gold through Platinum, and we have our newly established Phoenix League for Diamond and up. Please check the links below, check out our Discord, check out our subreddit, get involved in the community. We look to see you here.
Yeah, this is extremely fun. I just love casting for these guys. Extremely dedicated players that take it seriously, even at all ELOs. From Challenger to Bronze 5, these guys have passion. Now, looking at... Oh man, nothing too fun for the Keystone Masters. The only thing to take of note is that White Raw went Grasp of the Undying rather than other things that you can take on by Fervor, but ultimately Grass is probably going to be your best bet considering the amount of squish that she has on her team to try to be a little bit more of a tank threat.
Well, Thunderlord's Vi is still pretty dank.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Thunderlord's Vi. Yeah, Thunderlord's Vi is really, really strong in that early game. But it's so easy to proc it. You just Q, auto, E, it's like less than half a second. Goes down real quick.
So we are going to be getting into this game right now. Relegades Incorporated versus the Virtuosos. Will Relegades be able to take this game, or will the Virtuosos make it some mono too? We'll find out right now.
Some mono too, nice one. Nothing special coming out from the items thus far. I'd have to give... How do you think these lanes are going to go?
Let's face it. The only lane I can see really winning out is going to be Trentinism. With the Vayne lane and Soundbuster, it's going to be very difficult. They're going to have to play as passive as possible because Karma, Ezreal, even though Ezreal doesn't get going until more of the mid game, the pressure you have from the Karma can be just so immense, especially the base damage of Karma. When you get that mantra Q, it can really bully out that bot lane.
Yeah, especially considering that the early levels in the shields for Janna don't really cover that much damage, anything beyond a few auto attacks. So yeah, that Karma definitely going to be able to poke out that Janna early in these levels, and that could be the deciding factor for this Vayne and Janna bot lane that Virtuosos have drafted for themselves. If they can't get themselves you know, afloat in these early laning phases, they will fall behind, and it'll be extremely difficult for them to recreate that same stall that they had in game 1. In the mid lane, though, I find it a little bit curious that Cyber the God is, you know, Diana, Echo. These are really interesting picks, in my opinion, not stuff that you normally see. And for Trendalism's trend of, for lack of a better term, poor performances, I feel like they'd be wanting to push that pressure point a little bit more. So now, right off the bat, you'll see both junglers starting on their bot sides. Vi starting in those Raptors. White Raw has been known to do. Now, Kha'Zix, stage 1 on Kha'Zix is going to go for the Gromp. A little bit of heavy trading starting in the top lane. Crippled Old Man going to go to half HP on account of Red Flame Evolving. He's aggressing even more, really flexing his muscles. This is going to hurt his early laning very, very much. Almost to just barely 200 HP. Looks like we are going to have a fight here. The Red Flame is tanking those minions, getting very, very low. Could this be another early first blood like in game 1? I don't think so. They're both just going back to farming. I don't know about you guys, but if I was any of these top laners, I would be calling up my jungler right now to pick up these freeload kills. It's like both junglers are mirroring their starts. And really, like game 1, White Raw was the pivotal aspect that propelled them to those really strong leads. But it looks like Sandbuster is going low. Samano's shifts forward. Not able to pick up that one. They're going to safely disengage.
Yeah,
go back to gentle farming.
Looks pretty good for the bot lane of Relegades Incorporated. Getting that CS advantage quite early. Not too much yet. We do notice that Sambuster has gone for the longsword, which means he's definitely going to go for that Blade of the Moon King first.
Yeah, I agree. It's a smart buy for him, considering he's going to be eating a lot of heavy poke from that Ezreal Karma lane. In the mid lane, though, Trent is coming for a roam up here to contest White Raw's contest of that Scuttle Crab. I see he's coming up. Charging up the Vault Breaker.
The Vault Breaker lands on the crippled old man, and first blood picked up.
What an easy gank. Just handed it right to him. In a different fashion, now it's crippled old man who gave it the first blood.
Yeah, having that Shen taken away from him. Not really working out as well. Cyber God trying to challenge Trendalism a little bit. Not really working out.
Yeah, both top laners actually have to burn their teleports. Get back up to lane. And now White Raw coming up for a return gank.
Yeah, looks like it's about to happen. Here comes White Raw. The flash is available. Should see the flash out. Gets hit. Uses the dredge line and able to get it out of there.
Good that they're able to burn that flash on White Raw so that she can't do that to other lanes as well. Now looking at this mid lane match. Wait, are they going back in?
They're going back in onto Crippled Old Man. The flash is still up. Crippled Old Man gets the dredge line onto Red Flame by accident. Still able to live. Quite easy.
Yeah, and right now if you see the bot lane. Crippled Old Man, are you actually going to go back? Please! Stop toying with your teammates like that.
White Raw putting up the tent, punishing Crippled Old Man. Still hasn't got his flash yet, though.
Gonna go into that one. He's healed up so much right now. Flame. Looking a little bit low.
Quite a bit, but so is Sambuster. Samano gonna look to go forward on this one. Shield is up, so Sambuster will be safe for the meantime.
Yeah, and if you look towards the bot side jungle of Relegades right now, Saved One did not have the similar response of his top lane camp. Ooh. Oh, Cyber the God almost goes down. To return the point. Yeah, Saved One did not counter jungle. That would have been extremely key. Which means that he's going to be that White Raw is able to pick up those camps and get the kill. It's a turn for him. Slight out jungle. Looking like he wants to gank Trent. He isn't warded. Trent does have his flash. He's going to have to burn that one out.
Yep. So far, Trent's been looking a lot better on the Orianna than he did earlier on the Synchro in the early game.
Yeah, I agree. Able to mount a wave CS lead over his opponent, but with that back able gun, that's going to be close right up. Ultimately, just because of the dynamic of this lane matchup, Orianna wins out. Is able to get that lost chapter against Cyber the Gods. 3 Doran's rings. Cyber the God gonna have a little bit of an edge, but that's ultimately gonna be a weaker mid game as he's gonna have to sell those. First dragon is an ocean dragon. Already you can see on the side of Relegades 2 control wards, one in the pixel brush and then one on the bot side. So really good dragon control from them to keep Saved One from doing an early one and pulling one over their heads. White Rod back up on this top side. Is going to get spotted up at the control ward, but we'll take that one out. Doesn't matter. Red Flame able to land a taunt.
Yeah, here we go again. Another gank onto Crippled Old Man. Has to use the depth charge, trying to get out of there. Does have to burn the flash, and finally, White Raw gets it.
Yeah, unfortunately for White Rod, doesn't have his ulti to connect that one and burn through the flash and pick up the kill. Burns the flash. Forgets about the control ward that's in that brush, but is going to go down towards Saved One. Counter jungle that one.
Ooh, looking kind of bad for Crippled Old Man. Does have the shield and returns a shot.
And in similar fashion, we can talk about these map plays. Saved One down onto this red buff.
Oh,
Because the Virtuosos are trying to, or the Relegades are trying to collapse on it.
yeah,
Cyber the God does have level 6.
he's going for it. Cyber wants to get Saved One. Saved One has flash, has to burn it to get away. Trentalism is here. And there's a taunt under the tower in the top lane. The shield able to protect him. No, the minions take him out.
Wave is too large, and Crippled Old Man getting preyed upon.
Saved one. The Sandwalker. Here comes Stand United. Trentalism does have a shockwave. Uses it. Only gets Sandwalker and Samano, but will drop to Samano's. Forgot the name of the move.
Shockwave. No, that was the other one.
Arcane Shift. There we go.
Arcane Shift. Ultimately, though, and like you're saying before, similar style face rolling over the Virtuosos, like game 1. So far, not looking very pretty for the Virtuosos. It's like chain connects on the Sandbuster, but gonna get disconnected. Sandbuster goes in, tumbles for the 3rd auto attack. And really, once more, it is within these junglers to continue the snowball. Right now, the Shen, similar to last game, even though different player, has a very heavy advantage. And I want to see White Raw leverage that. Get that first tower down like he was doing in game 1. And just continue, move around the map, use his advantage along with Red Flame, take down the rest of those towers. I mean, it's really comfortable to be playing from a lead like this so early. To be fair, this early in, there's already the bot lane first tier tower down, so a little bit different than before, but ultimately an advantage.
Yeah, not as much bleeding as before. Is the best way to put it for now.
Oh, internal hemorrhaging. This is just like a paper cut. White Raw is channeling that Vault Breaker. Might
Does
flash.
have the assaulting battery. Doesn't use it.
And look at the vision control from Virtuoso. Is able to keep that bot lane river extremely warded to see him wherever he goes. That'll be good to prevent some early dragons, as we're all working with a pretty good advantage. Sitting on that Caulfield's hammer. I'm personally a fan of skipping the jungle item going for the damage. You snowball so much harder. Might be getting caught out here though. Push the Vault Breaker back away from the Saved One and Trent. Saved One is going to get spotted out though.
You know, something pretty interesting to note is Sandbuster is winning the CS game by a large amount, and that's not typically how this lane matchup would play out. Overall, doing a great job staying in this game.
Yeah, that is actually really interesting that he is winning that CS game. Almost 20 CS. A kill and an assist. I think it's because Samano's trying to shove up so hard to keep him to farm under tower, except some Sandbuster's doing a good job of farming under tower. And the act of shoving, Samano's missing CS, but Save One has hopped over the walls looking for a kill.
Save One trying to get on the Sandwalker, doesn't have flash, might get this kill, should go down. Stand United saves him for now, but no! Forward goes Soundbuster, and the monsoon is huge! Samano should draw from this, does draw from this. Save One grabs that.
They could translate that into the dragon, or they could get that bot turret. I do not believe that they have enough minion waves to get this tower down. Yeah, all these minions working with one auto attack, so they will get the poke damage, and I expect them to translate onto that Ocean Drake. Otherwise, really great pickup for them. Or they can beat multiple tower shots. A little bit interesting, but I think that lessens the threat of Dragon a lot more. And it looks like Cyber the God going very heavily on the Trentalism.
Yeah, dueling this out, back and forth trades.
But Sandbuster and Kristen didn't back after that trade though. So now they're forced to back now and go on a bad back once Sandwalker and Samano gets back to lane. So they're going to shove that one out, come to the lane on their tower. But because they're gone, White Rod's getting the dragon.
Yeah, very intelligent play coming out from him. Since they took so long for that back, it enabled that. Great.
Yeah, they wanted to shove the wave up, because you always want to shove the wave before you back so that you come back to a wave on your tower, but the little wave clear that Sandbuster's working with on that Vayne didn't allow for that immediately. If you look, the gold leads very slight in favor of Relegades. They save on aggressing onto Red Flame, but he uses the taunt to get over. Immediately we can see a little bit. Oh, heavy damage. Forced to burn the exhaust, but if he lands another Q, he's ultimately dead. Trent was playing with fire. What were you doing, Trent? That was an easy kill. On you, I mean, not for him.
That was just, you just underestimated it, and that can get so much worse, especially with Diana. You let a Diana snowball, and you are not gonna enjoy this game whatsoever.
Oh yeah, Diana snowballs so hard.
Yeah, you're just gonna go play Overwatch for a while or something.
Yeah, she snowballs so hard, and it's starting. She's already at 100 CS. You know, the pressure that we expected to see from Orianna, a ranged and melee matchup with really strong auto attacks, but Crippled Old Man doing heavy damage to Red Flame in this top lane matchup. And he's winning these trades through those shields and the wave clear, even though that Red Flame is 1-0-2 against, you know, a CS lead and a kill lead, still losing the trades. He should probably place that controller before he tries to shove up more. Looks like Red Flame is going to place that controller and spot out the one that Crippled Old Man did, but White Raw is coming in.
Ooh, here comes the assault and battery on the Captain Prison. We do see the monsoon. Not going to be enough, but Sandwalker might fall for it, and there is so much response coming out from the Relegades.
There's not much to be gained from that, though. They get a few kills, continue their snowball, which is fantastic. Okay, translate that into a tower, which is what they need.
Yeah,
Crippled Old Man gonna get some poke damage.
No teleport on Red Flame means that he is going to get a bit of damage on this, but it is a Nautilus. Won't be that much of a punishment.
Yeah, they are going to have to get this tower to make that work, and they will get it with 4 men being down here. This is such a good... This is similar to what we saw last game. Not as drastic, but a great play nonetheless to pick up 2 kills.
And look at that. Funneling the gold onto Samano. The right choice indeed. And denying the CS. 650 in Samano's pocket.
Ooh, that is an enormous swing. Going up to a 2,000 gold lead in favor of the Relegades. On top of the kill lead and the pressure lead that they've already built for themselves. So White Raw being that catalyst for his team. Getting things rolling once more.
Yeah, and this is starting to mirror the game we previously saw, as First Dragon and First Tower went in favor of the Relegades, but this time it's the Relegades who have the kill lead.
Yeah, it's unfortunately for the Virtuosos, not in similar fashion of kill lead for them as in game 1. And to talk about the first tower point, Virtuosos in 0% of their games so far have gotten first tower.
Ooh, shockwave on Cyber to God.
But he doesn't have enough damage.
Around does not
Trent
have
just did his combo. Yeah, Trent just did his combo. He doesn't have enough damage to keep that trade going. Actually, I think Cyber the God could have killed him. He didn't have any more damage to be putting out. Was on cooldown. Cyber the God actually finished up that lot of ages. Stacking at him now.
And a lot of punishment on the Red Flame. Sam actually got the auto off, taking the tower aggro before Captain Kristen doing taunting could have. But oh my goodness, Cyber the God!
Blown to smithereens. That was the power of the Diana.
Now, what a god indeed. This tower might go down. There is the
but stunned
Soundbuster getting punished quite a bit, but so is Red Flame. There is the ultimate. Soundbuster wants to finish this up, but here comes Viral! What a response!
I feel like now we are seeing the Virtuosos that stats indicate. Sloppy play. Trent feeding in the mid lane. They might be able to get this top lane tower down. Work that angle with that pressure. And they are good on stage 1 to partner up with this top laner and get that one done. Try to pull the team back into this one as it is looking very bleak for the Virtuosos currently.
And Sandwalker's in no man's land right now. He gets
a little bit
caught.
of a pickle.
What? Save one. Didn't really
Hook.
notice it. This could be Sandwalker going down. He's going to jump into the wall, go after Sandwalker. Sandwalker should fall, but is able to run out just in time. Saved one, burns the flash forward. Will the red buff take it? Does! And that is a kill picked up for Saved One. Meanwhile, Red Flame trying to get on the Saved One. Cyber the God is around the corner. Here comes the Q. Is it going to land? It does! And a shutdown picked up by Cyber the God, looking to get on the crippled old man. Misses the dredge line to the wall. Captain Kristen trying to be a defender, trying to save the crippled old man. Works out, and the retirement home plan is successful.
Yeah, for a moment I thought the W from Shen was going to block the empowered auto type, but White Raw's on Trent.
Yeah, White Raw going off. Shockwave lands on the White Raw, does no damage, and Trent is now 0-4-0.
It's crippled old man is just constantly getting pelted with these abilities and these auto attacks, but Trent really bringing into question perhaps his map awareness and what he was doing when the entire team was roaming over there. But this looks like it is going to be an additional dragon for the Relegades. This time, the best one, the biggest one, the Infernal. That is going to be a large swing. No response possible for Virtuosos. Easy, clean pickup, and this is just going to continue the Relegade snowball.
Yeah, things not looking good for them whatsoever. Kill lead, Dragon League, Dragon lead, Tower lead, Dragon League. Man,
it's relevant. I honestly, with the plays, some of the plays that we're seeing, perhaps Dragon League. Save One gonna try to bounce onto Smono, but he's gonna arcane shift away from that threat fairly easily. And Cyber the God's already got his Roa. He's stacking it so early that he's gonna get really strong. He's gonna have an extremely powerful mid-game power spike.
Ooh, Cyber the God looking to get on the Save One. Hop, skip, jumping away.
At this point, this is just, easy, methodical closing out for the Relegades. Coordinate and get these towers down. First, they have to get the vision in there. Let's see Sandwalker roaming up with his ADC, try to get out some of those control wards. Kristen, however, snuffs it out. And they're going on to her. Forced to burn her flash.
Samano's caught, has to flash away. The little man trying to get on this. Here comes White Raw looking to get on the Save One. There goes the True Shot Barrage. Captain Kristen is able to save someone, but drops for it. Now Soundbuster looking to fight with Samano in the middle of 3 members, but here comes Crippled Old Man. Samano might drop, does drop the Crippled Old Man. Here comes Saved One, picks up a kill, jumps the wrong way, a little bit too early on the jump, but Cyber to God wants some, but not anymore as he has to flash away.
And that was the fight that the Virtuosos needed to bring them closer to closing that gold lead.
Oh, please tell me we're not going to see this again.
I'm so ready for it. That last game was so exciting. They need to... The Virtuosos will be famous for their 50-minute plus games.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of CLGEU coming out of this.
That's it. Holy crap, I don't think I was playing when CLG... I don't think I was even watching LCS when CLGEU existed. It's an old reference. Speaking of old, this mid lane tower for Relegades is going to be old news, and that one falls down to the Virtuosos. Ties up the gold lead just a little bit more. 600 for the Relegades not going to amount to much. We're starting to see the levels pile up. Level 12, level 11. They all have their second points in their ultis, which are usually pretty big. You know, White Raw's Assault and Battery, and that'll give additional shield for Flames Stand United. They really want to pile on the crippled old man.
Yeah, no kidding. Trying to punish him as much as possible.
Relegade's saying, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Dive onto him, and they are going to pick up that tower. If they can keep continuing like this. Yeah. Unfortunately so. They can keep the snowball though. It looks like bot lane is surely going to fall. They have to make a response. It is going to be tower trade. And here's the response actually.
No way.
Go on to Baron.
21 minutes into this game, we have a Baron call. Stage 1 is around the corner. Did he just bring his jump? Yeah, kind of.
He has to flash in there. He wants to steal. He has to flash Q.
What's going on? It's falling so low. Sage 1's trying to get in. Is he going to be able to get it? No! Oh. He doesn't, and now the fight's breaking out. Shockwave is huge! This could be the fight. Low health bars on the Relegades. But is this going to work out? The Virtuoso's trying to make this work, and they're going to be able to just barely win this fight, but at the cost of the Baron. Soundbuster flashes over the wall. Down goes Sandwalker. Samano's right. A little bit too close. Will he go for it? Chooses not to. And what a risky call.
Yeah, that was so huge. You almost saw it was the barrage that picked up the Baron for the Relegades. An early smite from White Raw, or perhaps it was a coordinated attempt. Smite and get the True Shot barrage, but man, what a close Baron call. So many low health bars. Luckily for the Relegades, they only lose 2.
And the sad part is if Trentinalism hadn't did as bad as in lane as he did,
yeah,
that could have been more kills.
That would have been a triple kill if he hadn't died so many times. Although, you know, bashing him a little bit, but at least he's not, he averages a CS difference at 10 minutes of 60. So, definitely not as bad as that. So good to see improving performances for him, yet still a lot to improve on with that 0-4 score line. Right now, we will see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, completely nail on the head. That shockwave completely turned that Baron fight around. Almost. Just so close. If you just hadn't died so many times. But isn't that always the story?
Yeah.
I mean,
and Sage 1 was that close to getting the smite too.
Yeah. I mean, the last game they only lost. The Relegades only lost because they ran out of health. If they just not ran out of health, it would have been in the bag.
Shoulda, coulda, used, woulda. Now, how do they play it from here in order to win this game?
Use the Baron buff. If you're the Relegades, if you're the Virtuosos, keep making the picks and baiting with that Janna ulti.
Oh,
and here's the pick on the Sandbuster.
Yeah, Sandbuster getting punished, having to run away, but a return engaged onto Samano. Samano almost getting picked out. Here's the Assault and Battery on the Trentinalism. Trentinalism a little bit too deep in, caught in no man's land. Shockwave goes off, only hits Red Flame. This is not looking too good for the Virtuosos. One does drop.
You knew that is just showcasing the power behind Sandbuster. Currently 70 CS up over his 80 carry counterpart. And you can see that Red Flame just can't survive with that. Even though he's building 2 tank items, just ultimately can't handle the damage from the Vayne. Right now they're starting up the second Infernal pick. This is a huge picker for them.
Yeah, they finally get a Dragon. Almost gets stolen. Sandwalker a little bit too far forward. Doesn't drop just yet. In fact, they get the return on the Save One. And Cyber God is pretty big in this. He's got a triple kill. He's going to go for the quadra kill onto Sandbuster. Is he going to get close enough in time? Has to back off. So much punishment coming out of Sandbuster. But here comes Red Flame trying to get on it. Does not get the Q. And
is he gone? He's gone. He's being manly. He doesn't care. Where are towers?
And the tempo of that fight changed so much once Cyber to God showed up.
Yeah, and that is the kite. Yeah, Sandbuster kited so well in that fight. You can see just how much damage he does. But unlucky for the Relegades, their Baron buff had just worn off. They still might be able to get this tower though. Sandbuster might have something to say about it.
Here comes Sandbuster, Death Charge used on the Sandwalker. And there's the
Saber the
dredge
God,
line onto
waiting in the wings.
Samano. But look at Sandbuster getting extremely low. Saber the God goes after Sandbuster, melts Sandbuster. And there goes the redemption, getting some health in. This might be a bad fight for the Virtuoso. Shockwave is up. It could be big. We could see the Shockwave, and it destroys Cyber the God. Here comes White Raw. Goes on to Captain Chris in the Sultan Battery, able to pick up that kill. Turtleism running extremely low, but he kills Samano. He kills the Sandwalker, and this could be the fight that the Virtuosos needed as they look to get one more. Red Flame try to run for his life, but you're not going to get away from saved one, or are you? Actually making a lot of ground here, trying
Flash
to run.
Flash connected. All he needs is just jump back up.
And here it comes.
He didn't envision. There it
Shut
is.
down. What a fight between these two teams.
What a huge misplay for the Relegades. Again, just these coordinated, biting off more than they can shoot type plays. And there the ace comes through. And that is so huge for Trent. Able to pick up so many kills, so much XP. And we could potentially see a game similar to last one.
Now the Relegades got to play this very carefully now, as Trent is just so big in these fights. The Shockwave annihilating Cyber to God, annihilating Samano, annihilating the Sandwalker. 3 people he managed to take out. Save one, going on the Sandwalker. Sandwalker's getting punished. Save one, is he actually going to be able to get it? He does, but he's under a lot of pressure. Able to jump away just barely in time. The slow is on Sandbuster. There is Assault and Battery up. Captain Kristen running extreme low. Cyber to God picks up that kill, and there goes the True Shot Barrage. Saved one, barely able to survive. Trentalism over the wall, making sure his team's safe.
Yeah, these are so close, so tense. Janna able to be the sacrificial lamb and save her Sandbuster ADC from certain death if they're able to connect that one. But again, another stall. This is so even. I mean, it's not even, but it's even. The gold's not even, but it's even because of the misplays that the Relegades are making for themselves. You see, going back to farming, we get a little bit of a rest. Baron is going to be up in 45 seconds. So you'll see both junglers pathing towards that side.
Do you think Soundbuster's really going to do this again? Do you think he's going to be the hyper carry for his team again?
If he does this again, I'm convinced that he could probably just play AD Orianna and still do this.
Oh man, and Samano, usually a consistently good ADC, not looking too good in this matchup so far.
Yeah, he's got a pretty strong Ezreal, but it seems he's met his match in Sambuster, the better of the Sams. At least so far in this series.
I didn't even notice they both have Sam in their name.
He should change his name and extend it to Samano Buster. Baron is up now. Relegades do have the top wave pressure as all towers are missing from that lane. That will soon be mounting and put some pressure onto the inhibitor tower. But they are playing with fire right now. A potential dive may come from White Ross sitting over this wall, but he's spotted out. Let's cancel. That is such a huge wave in top. Someone needs to go respond to that right now. Yeah, and you can already see the pings. Relegades have some really good wards deep in the jungle. They're pinging out saying, hey, we can potentially make a pick or just go onto this tower. It looks like they're going to go onto the tower. Or do both.
Pretty good positioning, pretty good macro coming out from the Relegades in order to force that tower down. But
Yeah, fantastic.
We're coming into a lot of things we saw in game 1 though. It's now going to be, can they break the egg that is the Virtuoso's base? And here,
once more onto the
got a
base.
fight breaking out. White Raw is getting chunked really fast. Save one, not taking too much damage. Red Flame having to run away, and so does White Raw in order to survive.
Not much to be had from that. A good tower take from them as they prep the waves extremely well. And Cyber the God picks up the other tower and shreds the inhibitor with just one auto attack, and now everyone's aggressing onto him, being a great distraction. Fights cross map.
The fight breaking out could be pretty big. Red Flame trying to run away from Save One. Save One, Shockwave used onto Red Flame, and will Save One pick up the kill? Yes, he does, but there is still a lot of pressure in this bot tower. White Raw choosing not to go in for that one. Crippled Old Man doing everything he can to try and save this tower, unfortunately unable to. You should have left sooner, friend, because this looks like the end for you, but here comes the rest of the Virtuoso. Save One picks up some mono, and now Sandwalker's gonna go down. Save One choosing not to chase onto White Raw. Overall, 19-19 the kills. Fighting from behind the Virtuosos. This is their playstyle pretty much.
Yeah, they've gotten so good at playing from behind, and it's showcased in how many kills they're able to pick up. 10 and 2 on Saved One. They were able to get 2 to 3 towers, but it is a Pyrrhic victory as many of them went down in the process, tying up the kill score. White Raw gonna pick up yet another Drake for themselves. I'm gonna double that. I like his build. Doing pretty good, but standard.
It's a throwback to me.
What do you
Season 2, Season 3, we used to see Trinity Forces on anything.
Triforce, everything,
Yeah.
anything. I did Triforce. You want to do some hybrid build? Put Triforce on it. Build damage on some tank, put Triforce on it.
It was all you ever need, and it's showing for White Raw. Doing a good amount of damage. 6, 4, 3. Uh-oh. Sandbuster's getting caught out. Might get snared. Cyber the God around the corner, choosing not to go after Captain Kristen. Wants Sandbuster.
Yeah, they're doing the Baron dance once more, but the pressure is equaled on either sides of the map. You'll see Red Flame going to that bot side, and then you'll also see a pause.
Yeah, welcome to Ascension eSports, land of pauses.
Yeah, Sandwalker lagged and then just disconnected, so he'll be back shortly. And to bring him up, getting caught quite a bit. I mean, he was actually, I think he was getting caught out less than when he was on Malzahar. Which seems to be a little bit easier to catch up, but it is Saved One on Kha'Zix, who is the master of picking out targets. Respectively, though, Saved One, 10, 2, and 3, having a great performance on that Kha'Zix jungle. Similarly,
So
and their mid disconnected.
wow. So, for those of you who don't know, both teams either have 3 pauses or a cumulative pause time of 5 minutes, whichever is met first. If you need more time than 5 minutes, you either continue the game or you forfeit. Simple as that. We're going to find out soon enough what the issue is and hopefully get back into this game.
And what an unfortunate forfeit that would be for the Relegades to get 2-0'd by the last tier team. And likewise, or conversely rather, such a huge morale boost for the Virtuosos, who, I mean, I was checking the stats out, looking at Trent. Highest CS deficit at 10 minutes, highest amount of death for any mid laner, and almost any champion. Both Kristen and Trentalism have the highest amount of deaths in the league right now. And it's showing a little bit. They just seem to have a little bit of rough edges around their play. And I have actually really high hopes for them come towards the end of the season. And really, with these underdogs, you can never really predict how they'll do, if they'll stay like this. But seeing the play they're showcasing for us today against the top 3 team, really, really, really incredible.
Yeah, you have to give major props to the Virtuosos. And mainly Sandbuster. He looks so good. Even right now, he's still looking pretty good on a champion that shouldn't be working out for the comp that the Relegades have drafted.
Yeah, going from Caitlyn to Vayne, what a shift. I mean, you're just sitting back, placing traps, using nets, popping all those headshots, but he's popping on the Vayne, tumbling around, rumbling and tumbling, firing all those arrows and putting out extremely good damage. And really, he's probably going to be the deciding factor once more for who's going to win this game. Having a much stronger performance over Samano, and unless the Shen can handle all the auto attacks that he's going to be putting onto him, then the crippled old man will survive in the front line, at least in front to back team fights. You know, this is without taking into account the dive that Cyber God and White Raw are going to be wanting to put onto Sandbuster. But if if Red Flame can survive through it, then it'll be pretty big.
Most
So
definitely.
Trent-
I mean, the way I see it, the pressure is on Captain Kristen to keep Sandbuster alive, because Cripple Man is going to be playing the front line. But what do you do with a team that has so much dive from so many different angles, you just put that pressure on Captain Kristen and hope the best, and hope
And that's
Soundbuster
the
can
issue.
really work this.
Yeah, that's the difficulty with this. You can't stop every single threat. There's Vi, there's Shen, there's Vi as the Shen delivery system, and then you have CyberGod, who is going to be going on to either the Vayne or the Orianna, and she'll be doing extremely large damage numbers. I mean, just blowing up people of 100 to 0. 10 stacks on the row, a Nastro's Tooth, and a Rabadon's Death Cap. She's going to be hitting like a truck.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying when Diana gets snowballing. One of those champions, just like the Echo, that if you give that moment, things can just snowball out of control. If you give that advantage whatsoever, it can get bad quickly. Fortunately enough for the Virtuosos, they did have the comp to protect themselves from that. Now it's a little more iffy.
Oh, that was really close reconnection. I believe everyone is here? Yep, everyone is here. That was really close. Almost hit the 5-minute mark for that pause time, but Sandwalker going to clear out that ward onto Baron. Let's talk a little bit more about the dynamics of these team fights. At least in the ganks beforehand, White Raw had smart priority of ulting Captain Kristen, because forcing him to peel himself. So if he does that in those fights, oh wow, Sandwalker's going really low.
Yeah, and there's no stand united.
Man canceled it.
Yeah, it was canceled. The battle is on. Save One's in the middle of them. Samano a little bit too deep. Will Samano go down? Has to flash away. Now White Raw under a lot of pressure. He's trying to run away. Meanwhile, Soundbuster with a huge grid. Now Saved One's going after White Raw. Will Samano drop? Yes, he does. And the Virtuosos are looking so good right now.
CyberGod in a bad spot. Saved One aggressing onto him. The shockwave whiffs. Forced to burn the flash out of CyberGod. That looks like it's gonna be a Baron.
Yeah, and with a Vayne, this Baron can melt so
once
fast.
more. They are going to go onto this Baron. Going to try to respond to it, though. Not sure how many resources Relegades have to respond to this one. Here comes
White
Flame.
Raw. Will he get there in time? He does not. Baron goes over to the Virtuosos and manages to get a pick on the Adrenalism, but Cyber to God is now starting to do work. This started looking pretty bad for the Virtuosos. Save One is still there. Soundbuster trying to do what he can. White Raw whips! And now he's going to go down to Saved One. But unfortunately for him, Soundbuster does go down. Now Crippled Old Man trying to run away from Red Flame. Should get away from that one. Almost gets taunted. Still running for his life. Dredge line
really
lands.
tanky. And he's got a lock into the Iron Solari.
What a back and forth fight.
Yeah. Oh, it was canceled, though. Now they're going back in. Why do they want him so much?
They got to be careful, though, because
They're
Cyber
not
to
going to
God,
be able to go through him.
he can melt. Saved One. Cyber to God not able to get too much done. Gets on to Saved One. Punishes him greatly. Saved One running for his life. Gets shut down. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. Red Flame under the tower. Doesn't care about the tower. Relegades looking good. They finally get something going for them. Cyber to God still there. Shockwave goes off all 3 members. And there's the Hourglass used. Cyber to God goes down to Trendalism. And what a back and forth fight this is becoming.
I don't think we're done just yet. Captain Kristen's still chasing, and they really want Sandwalker. Is able to get the Zephyr onto her. And Crippled Old Man nopes out of that one with a back.
Oh, what a war these two teams are putting up.
It really is a war. Just battles continuously happening on all fronts. The Baron diving inside enemy lines. If you are CyberGod and Red Flame, to try to take down a huge tank. Just pristine Abrams, crippled old man. Going back to his old war days.
Yeah. I just have to comment on the silly juke that Soundbuster did, making White Raw go over the Baron wall into the hands of Saved One.
Oh, he, yeah, I think I saw that. There's just so much going on, it was hard to keep track of. But we are resetting now. The roaring waters that is this game have settled down once more.
And now look at this, the Virtuosos with the kill lead.
Yep, once more, still behind in gold, but it's not like that ever mattered for them. Playing like they have all the gold that they need to win this one. They're going on a Cyber God.
God, he's all alone. Sam United use Shockwave whips completely, and here comes Red Flame. Is he gonna be able to take him out and kill Sam Buster? Now Saved One should be in the target next. Drops double kill picked up by Cyber to God. Captain Kristen running as fast as she can. Can she get out? The answer is no. Triple kill, and now this is disaster for the Virtuosos as 4 members drop, and they only lost Samano for it.
And this is so good for the Virtuosos right now. With that top lane inhibitor being out, all they have to do is just shove down mid and then wait for the wave to crash top lane to start putting pressure onto those Nexus towers. Decerux, I have no idea what I have been casting for these last 2 hours. Each fight is just a seesaw, and it's been like that every single game, every single fight.
And
One team wins, and then the opposite one wins the next fight. I don't understand how it happens.
And how in the world did Cyber the God actually stay alive? Only way he lives up to his name, he's actually a god.
He's a god.
Yeah, and the Virtuosos, they cannot commit the deicide required to erase him from this map.
Yeah, this series is all over the place. And I'm really enjoying watching the Virtuosos play. Oh, but he's gonna get caught out. Saved one!
No.
Blown up.
Deep into no man's land.
And that's gonna be, I believe, the Elder Drake spawning soon. Not having Smite up for that is gonna be extremely crucial. This could swing it, although, and again, everything else could swing. We've seen lots of swings. This might as well be a Newton pendulum at this point.
Clever. I'll give you that, clever.
They are starting up that one, and it seems that there is no response from the Virtuosos. Red Flame teleports onto that controller to stop from being taken out. And it's going to be an easy pickup for them. And well, this is really similar to game 1. Bot and top and mid inhibs out. Yeah, I think we've seen this before.
Yup. Are we actually going to see a comeback? Is it possible?
I want to see it. It has to happen. Sambuster praying to the gods right now that he can hold this one together for his team. He's doing so much damage right now. 4 items on him, just probably going to pick up a GA. Or if he's really ballsy, going to go for some more damage. Picks up a Spectre's Cowl. Might go into a Banshee's Veil. Whoa, that what happened to that tower's health?
Goodness gracious.
Okay, so, yeah, the difference between this and a game 1, now they're working with an Elder Drake, and they have a lot more dive tools that they can threaten. The Virtuosos offer those towers. This is those 10 Bombets. Who's going to pull the trigger? White Raw charging it up. Isn't going to go deep. Crippled Old Man has the tools. White Raw has the tools to start these fights. Deciding factor is who's it going to be. It's going to be Cyber the God.
Cyber the God goes in, gets the 10 United used on him, and the fight is out. There goes the Assault and Battery on to save one. This fight's going back and forth so far. Red Flame is a little bit too deep. Will he go down? Shockwave goes off, hits Cyber the God. The Hourglass is used on Cyber the God, and we see that Red Flame has gone down. Now Cyber the God has gone down. Sam Buster looking to get onto Samano. Unfortunately, he does have pretty low health. This might be a bad choice for him. Crippled Old Man having to back off as well, and that is 2 inhibitors down.
A 1 fight overall for the Virtuosos, but they just can't win it all with those top inhibs and mid inhibs being out. They lose a Nexus Tower in the process, and as you've very, very well casted, White Rod did jump onto save him with the Assault and Battery. That left Sam Buster to go free reign and just pump out as much damage as he could, going 100% DPS.
I just noticed the Spirit Visage on Sam Buster. What in the world?
Oh, is that what he finished it into? I thought it was, yeah, I thought it was gonna be a Banshee's Veil actually. But that's a pretty good buy too, actually, thinking about it. I mean, he gets the bonus healing from it.
Yeah.
Gets some health regen and CDR, which will help him. So smart adaptive buys, I like that. It's definitely for the sustain. Yeah, it's a really smart like dual purpose buy because he wants to sustain if he can peel off Cyber the God, and he'll live through it with the HP and the magic resist. Baron now up. This will be the deciding factor. Things that happen.
Will it?
It will be. I'm convinced. This is the deciding factor.
It really depends. Like, if the Virtuosos lose this fight, it definitely is. But we do see a fight going out. White Raw taking a lot of punishment. Death Charge is used onto Sandwalker. Sandwalker is deep in no man's land. Will he go down? Yes, he does. And now White Raw is going to have the focus on him next. White Raw trying to go onto Sandbuster. Doesn't work out. There goes the Monsoon. Getting a lot of healing in. Sandbuster looking to go onto Cyber to God next. White Raw still alive. Trying to go after Captain Chris. It doesn't work out. Wasted flash. Here comes Redemption. And it's gonna be big for the Virtuosos as they go after this Baron.
So look at the wave bot lane.
Uh-oh.
Cyber to God is teleporting on it. That could be a lost Nexus turret for this Baron.
They
want to stop the back.
Here comes Sage One going after Samano. Samano's taking a lot of punishment. He's going to be able to kite Sage One. No, he doesn't. He falls down, and so does Red Flame. Here comes the teleport out of Crippled Old Man looking to get onto
Is he going to finish it?
There's no way in the world he could be able to finish this.
1v5 on the Nexus.
He's trying to go for it. Doesn't work out whatsoever. And that is Baron and an ace picked up by the Virtuosos.
He got blowed up. Man, and that is going to be the next inhibitor up. Cyber the God is able to take, I believe, able to take out that bond inhibitor, which will be the only one missing for the Virtuosos. But ultimately, they get the Baron, only lose one at Nexus Tower, but not really going to amount too much. Cyber the God not able to get the 50 gold on that Nexus, so Virtuos living to see another game. They're just going to shove out, try to get some more pressure down.
And the gold's even.
Yep, for the first time, gold is even.
There we go, Save One on the White Rod. Doesn't really get too much, but the pressure will be on this tower. And it's melting.
That's an easy. Yeah, easily going down. And we've seen what the Virtuosos can do with negative gold leads. I'm kind of scared to see what they can do with a positive one.
No, Trent, you got way too close. A free kill picked up. You could tell he wanted the shockwave, but that was not the right time to go for it.
Sandbuster does the work of 2 carries. They don't need a Trent. They have a Sandbuster. Sandwalker's aggressing very heavily onto Sandbuster. He's going to eat a bunch of auto attacks. Get depleted to about 66% HP. That just goes to show how much damage Sandbuster is shooting out. I'm not really sure that Relegades are in a position for this. It is a 4v5.
It's going to be pretty tough. Here comes Cyber getting into this fight now. Samano taking a lot of damage. Assault and Battery is used. Sandbuster taking a lot of punishment, but they pick off Cyber to God. They're going to pick off White Raw as well. Taunt goes on to Sandbuster. Sandbuster still looks good in this fight so far. He is so big. Samano failing the arcade shift. Are the Virtuosos going to be able to win this fight afterwards? Are they going to Quadra kill picked up? Is this going to be a Penta kill picked up by Sandbuster? Trying to pick up Red Flame Evolve, jumping away. He does have the Guardian Angel though, and this could be it. Sandbuster looking so good, but he's not going to get it.
Get the Penta.
No, will he be able to get the Penta? Penta denied. Red Flame being able to run away. Poor Sandbuster.
Denied. Oh, that feels so bad. Oh, wait, no, Sandbuster's coming.
Do we still have the timer? Here comes Sandbuster. Sandbuster trying to get this Penta. Tried everything he can to get this Penta. Is it going to be an ace picked up? Penta denied.
Penta. Oh, I'm tilted by that. I'm tilted. Oh my gosh, that's so close. But Pentas are not. It does not matter. Crippled Old Man face tanking that mid lane inhibitor tower. They put Save One on wave clear duty in the bot side, and this one is going to go down. Right, the Sandwalker up. They're waiting on 40 seconds for Red Flames. This will be a 4v4 effectively. And man, Sandbuster is doing big things for this team. Can we check his account? Is he double of Smurf?
This is Ghosty right here with the Vayne.
I'm pretty sure Sandbuster's Gosu's Smurf actually. Like this is Gosu's competitive Smurf. Big waves in top lane. They're gonna just eat up, get even stronger right now, working with a 4,000 gold lead that is compounded from 2 just a few minutes ago. Right now, not too many objectives to be had as they're still on timers.
And I just want to point out, you said this was a 4v5, and you said earlier that Sandbuster has the power of 2 carries. You were 100% right. Sandbuster 4v5 wins it for his team.
He doesn't need a team. Sandbuster is a god. Scott, he's right now, he is the capstone on this pyramid that is the Virtuosos right now.
Captain Kristen getting caught out a little bit. So is Save One able to use a great tornado. Doesn't look too good for Captain Kristen or Save One. Monsoon goes out, healing it up, delaying this a little bit, but this might be the end of the game if they don't play this well enough. We have Captain Kristen down. That's only the support still trying to chase onto them. Trentalism around the corner does have the shockwave up. This could be very, very risky.
Sambuster's on the wings.
Yeah, Sambuster
Couldn't get into that one. That's the only fight where he wasn't present. And you'll see what you saw what just happened when he wasn't able to get in there.
Yeah.
Getting zoned off. He tried to come in, and this is an open Nexus.
Oh my
This
god, are
could
they going to go
down.
for the Nexus right now? This could be genius coming out from the Relegades. Nexus is melting. Samano's going to go down first, and they get the Nexus! What a genius play coming out of the Relegades. This series is a tie going to 1-1, but what a series we just saw.
Oh my god. And just like that one fatal mistake on the side of Virtuosos to get picked out, and they were caught out in a fight without the Buster himself, and that ultimately costs them the game. It's so unfortunate. Can you just imagine if they had a stronger early game, what this game could have been?
Yeah, that could be the first 2-0. It was already the first win. Could have been the first 2-0. It's the first tie instead for the Virtuosos. As we get to the damage charts, Soundbuster, what a surprise.
Another middle finger going towards the Relegades. And it even looks more like fingers on the sides of the damage with Kha'Zix and Orianna. Trent and Saved One doing their damnedest to try to save that one for their team, but it just didn't come. Oh man, this series was ridiculous.
And that final catch, that's all you needed. Didn't have Soundbuster in the right spot. They paid for it. But what a series we saw. Ascension eSports Elder League Season 2, the Virtuosos versus Relegades, ends in a tie. And I'm actually quite excited to see what the Virtuosos bring out in their next game.
Yeah, if they can improve the mechanics in the mid lane, I feel like the weakest point definitely in the mid lane. I mean, you saw just how fed Cyber the God became on that Diana, having a really great performance. But holy crap, Sambuster is just a legend. He's already week 2, just flexing his muscles, how well he can perform on a myriad of carries. Caitlyn first, and then Vayne pulled out the Vayne, and then styled on him.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're celebrating Soundbuster right now, and he lost the game. That's how
he was
impressive he looked.
fantastic.